So there's on that topic of enjoyment, it's quite interesting. We should just throw this in there that there's this recent survey of about 791 professional developers, professional meaning 10 plus years of experience.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but
That's a junior developer?
yeah, in this day and age. So the results here on many fronts are surprising. So they break it down by junior and senior developers, but I mean, it just shows that both junior and senior developers use AI generated code in code they ship. So this is not just for fun, sort of intermediate kind of learning things. This is code they ship. And so it's 25%, like most of them use around 50% or more. And what's interesting is for the category of over 50% of your code that you ship is AI generated, senior developers are much more likely to do so. But you don't want AI to take away the thing you love.
Yeah.
I think this speaks to my experience, these particular results I'm about to say. So together, about 80% of people find it either somewhat more enjoyable or significantly more enjoyable to use AI as part of the work.
I think it depends on the task. For my personal usage, for example, I have a website where I sometimes tweak things on the website. I personally don't enjoy this. So in that sense, if the AI can help me to implement something on my website, I'm all here for it. It's great. But then at the same time, when I solve a complex problem, well, if there's a bug and I hunt this bug and I find the bug, it's the best feeling in the world. It's like you get so much joy, like, oh, it's like you feel like great. But now, if you don't even thinking about the bug, you just go directly to the LLM, well, you never have this kind of feeling, right? But then there could be the middle ground where, well, you try yourself, you can't find it, you use the LLM, and then you don't get frustrated because it helps you and you move on to something that you enjoy. And so I think looking at these statistics, I think also the difference is, or what is not factored in, it's averaging over all the different scenarios where we don't know if it's for the core task or if it's for something mundane that people would not have enjoyed otherwise. So in a sense, AI is really great for doing mundane things that take a lot of work. So, for example, my wife the other day, she has like a podcast for like book discussions, a book club, and she was like transferring the show notes from Spotify to YouTube, and then the links somehow broke. And she had in some episodes, because it is custom many books, like 100 links or something, and it would have been really painful to go in there and fix each link manually. And so I suggested, hey, let's try ChatGPT. We copied the text into ChatGPT, and it fixed them. And instead of 2 hours going from link to link fixing that, it made that type of work much more seamless. There was no frustration fixed. I think everyone has a use case where AI is useful for something like that would be really boring, really mundane.
For me personally, since we're talking about coding, and you mentioned debugging, what a lot of the source of the enjoyment for me, more on the cursor side than the Claude Code side, is I have a friend, I have what's that called? A pair programmer. Like it's less lonely. You made debugging sound like this great joy. No, I would say debugging is like a drink of water after you've been going through a desert for days. So like you skip the whole desert part where you're suffering. So like sometimes it's nice to have a friend who can't really find the bug but can give you some intuition about the code, and you're together with that friend going through the desert, and then together find that drink of water. So at least for me, maybe it speaks to the loneliness of the programming experience. That is a source of joy.
It's maybe also related to delayed gratification. I'm a person who, even as a kid, I like the idea of Christmas presents, having them, getting them better than actually getting the presents. I would look forward to the day I get the presents, but then it's over and I'm disappointed. And maybe it's something like also with, let's say, food. I think food tastes better when you're really hungry. And you're right with debugging. It is not always, great. It's like often frustrating, but then if you can solve it, then it's great. But there's also like a sweet Goldilocks zone. If it's too hard, then it's, wasting your time. But I think that is another challenge, though. How will people learn? I mean, the chart we looked at, we saw that more senior developers are shipping more AI-generated code than the junior ones. And I think it's very interesting because intuitively you would think it's the junior developers because they don't know, let's say, how to do the thing yet because they are more junior. And so they use AI to do that thing. It could either mean the AI is not good enough yet to solve that task, but it could also mean experts are more effective at using it. They know where and better how to use it and review the code, and they trust the code then more. And so I think one issue in the society in the future will be, though, how do you become an expert if you never try to do the thing yourself? And I think one way, it's always like, for me, how I learn is by trying things myself, like math textbooks. If you look at the solutions, yeah, you learn something, but I think you learn actually better if you try first and then you appreciate the solution differently because you know how to put it into your mental framework. And if LLMs are here all the time, would you actually go through the length at struggling? Would you be willing to struggle? Because struggle is not nice, right? I mean, it's struggling. And if you use the LLM to do everything at some point, you will never really take the next step. And then you will maybe not get that unlock that you would get as an expert using an LLM. So it's like, it's like, I think there's like a Goldilocks sweet spot where maybe the trick here is you make dedicated offline time where you study 2 hours a day and the rest of the day use LLMs. But I think it's important also for people to still invest in themselves, in my opinion, to not just, LLM everything.
Yeah, there is. And we together as civilization, that we each individually have to find that Goldilocks zone.